The Schultz Fire burned over 23 square miles, becoming the largest fire in Coconino National Forest history. The fire reached over 10,000 feet elevation on the San Francisco peaks and was rated severe over much of this fire area. The problem is steep slopes, now with no vegetation, and an above-average monsoon spelled disaster for many in the Donny Park area. Dozens of homes were damaged, infrastructure like roads, utilities, driveways, water pipelines were damaged or destroyed.
Probably a foot and a half to 2 feet of water at the top coming down, Campbell. Using 6.
This graphic shows the natural flow pattern of the water coming off the San Francisco peaks and the Schultz Fire burn area. All the water wanted to head towards the Rio de Flag. The only problem being, in order for it to do so, it first had to flow through the timberline fernwood areas before turning south, heading to the Sunset Crater Estates subdivision.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Insane.
This is crazy.
For residents of the upper part of the flood area closest to the mountain, we're faced with floodwaters moving at rapid rates of speed, carrying huge amounts of debris, mud, boulders, trees, burned up logs, everything from the fire and up on the hill came down into those areas. The people down at Sunset Crater Estates were faced with a slow-moving flow of water into an area that has no natural drainage. The water built up and then flooded many homes in the Sunset Crater Estate. Utilities and infrastructure were other victims of the flood. Utility lines, water lines, culverts, roadways were all damaged or destroyed. One of the missions for the incident management team was to help residents prepare for future flood events. Over 300,000 sandbags, 5,000 wattles, and 3 miles of Jersey barriers were installed, and dozens of culverts were replaced to protect homes. We also assisted homeowners cleaning up from flood debris, and when possible, we coordinated our efforts with utility companies in our effort to secure basic utility and infrastructure. Near the Wapatki Trail subdivision, Highway 89 North was in danger of being washed away, and the floodwaters from this part of the fire were damaging Fernwood Estates subdivision. A diversion ditch and a berm was created to move the water down the 776 road and away from Fernwood. This created a 1.5 acre lake on the 776 road, but it stopped all the flooding of the Fernwood subdivision. As you look at this graphic, you can see at the north end the diversion berm that was built at the Girls Ranch. And again, this diverted all the water from Fernwood Estates and created about a 2 acre lake on the 776 road. This next graphic shows you the second diversion ditch that we created, and that was the Copeland Ditch. By constructing of this ditch, it removed 2 out of the 4 sources of water that were flowing to the Sunset Crater Estates subdivision. And perhaps for the first time in history, a lake was actually created at Cinder Lake which is just a large, dry cinder bed. The Copeland Ditch was a major project, and it took quite a while. To complicate matters with each flood, the Copeland Ditch and all of our diversion ditches and berms would collect more silt and mud that had to be mucked out to make the ditches and berms viable again. This is a view of the Campbell drainage looking west from the Forest Service boundary. Due to topography, we could not divert the water from the Campbell drainage, so we constructed a series of berms to slow down the water and extend its exposure to the cinder fields to increase soil absorption. Because the mud would seal the cinders, we then had to scarify the cinders using dozers and excavators, which broke up the mud and made the cinder fields able to absorb water once again. The lessons learned on this assignment were many. It could make a good case study of human nature, both good and bad. The number of volunteers was in the thousands. Hundreds of neighbors were helping neighbors, and strangers were helping strangers. It really was awe-inspiring at times. Some tempers did flare up, but these instances were rare. Only time will tell if all the work that was done will be able to withstand a 3-inch monsoon storm over the burn area. Or perhaps we won't know for sure until this coming spring, when all the snow melts and that water again runs through the timberline fernwood areas down into the Sunset Crater Estates.
Position where I'm not in very good position. I'm going to turn around and try and get out here. To be advised, we have probably 1.5 to 2 feet of water at the top coming down, Campbell.